I played wiffle ball yesterday. My body hurts in so many different ways.
Oh, getting old. Hey, Greg, how you doing today?
Doing well, sir. How are you?
Fantastic. So you got a heat wave over on the East Coast too, huh?
Yeah. Hot, muggy. It's sticky. It is very sticky.
Ooh. I do have to say, I think that even though I think you said it was 95?
Right.
I had 110 here yesterday, but I would take 110 here over 95 there any day of the week.
Oh, yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
I went to the pool today, and just sitting next to the pool, I started sweating, and it was just like dots on my arm. It's just sweat and water everywhere. And I wasn't even in the pool. I was trying to eat.
Did the girl have fun at the pool?
Oh, yeah. Baby loves the pool.
Oh, yeah?
She's really into the waterfall, so she's running in and out of the waterfall for a good 15 minutes.
Okay, cool.
And then playing with the little fountain. Yeah, she's really getting the hang of it. So
sweet.
It's nice to see them, have fun and have that kind of joy. So
yeah, my two little ones joined the swim team over the summer, and they had a swim meet yesterday. So I was the lucky guy. I got to sit under the hot sun while I watched everybody else be in the water.
Yeah. They need a spectator pool.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. I'm totally bringing that up. A spectator pool. I like it.
Instead of like, hot iron bleachers, a spectator pool would be much more.
Cool. So in today's episode, Greg, we're going to talk about kind of it's been almost 6 months since we started. So congratulations. We've made it this far. That's really cool.
You too.
Yes. And so we're just kind of going to revamp and talk a little bit about where we're at with our 2018 goals. And then we're going to field some user questions and talk about a couple of reviews we have and kind of keep it light today. So, Greg, how are you with your 2018 goals? First off, what were your goals?
Well, let's see if I remember correctly, and we're probably going to go back on this and just totally mess this up, but I wanted to launch a new design for Chili Dog hosting. I want to launch a new version of WeaverPix 4. I wanted to launch the newsletter service. I think it was actually almost came out the same time we started, just about. So got that thankfully done. And then documentation and stuff. I really wanted to do a lot better on like documentation and communication and branding and a lot of the business side of things versus the technical side of things. It's been good and bad. I've been working hard and chipping away at some of those things, but nothing is nearly as flushed out, and I have a feeling that I have like the set schedule and set timeline where, my deliverables are open-ended, and you know how that kind of can be when you don't have set days and set due dates.
Yep.
Things go a lot longer than you'd want. So that's where I kind of am. Still haven't fully figured out how best to manage some of those things. I'm just starting to wrap up, I think, WeaverPix in doing some testing and finalizing the features and those kind of nitty-gritty stuff, and then I'll probably move to documentation. The newsletter stuff is out. I'm really happy with that. It's I have to do better about marketing the business side of things and getting people on board and getting people to really take advantage of the the $1 a month to collect emails and manage that in a GDPR compliant manner.
Yep. Yeah, well, I know a lot of people are signed up and started using your email service, right? You've had a few people sign up for that already. But the only thing you have left to do is the marketing page for it and stuff like that.
Yeah, I got to do all the business side, and I was holding up the marketing pages because I wanted to do the new website design and have everything nice and beautiful.
Oh, I don't know anything about that. I would never do anything like that.
Yeah, what was the saying? The perfect is the enemy of good enough, or something.
Yeah.
Right? So I may have to
Yeah.
dial it back and rethink my strategy.
Yeah, because I've wanted to, recommend your service to a bunch of people, and then I keep going to your site, going, where the hell's this page for this thing? And 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 a lot of times I was sending the email to your chili mail, which isn't that, right? And then people are like, what are you talking about? This isn't it. Like, and I'm like, oh, oops.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, so see, that's my bad. Like, yeah, just it's a big boo boo on my part.
So if someone wanted in right now, they'd have to email you?
No, there's a cart page where you could actually buy it, but there's no like product page that flushes out all the features and kind of outlines like,
So call Greg. His phone number is just playing.
Audio cuts out. That's where the audio cuts out. Yeah, that's how you play that. Where's your soundboard?
Oh man, my soundboard failed again. Right?
Yeah. You paid all that money.
There we go. Sad trombone.
That's the F1 key.
Yeah, exactly. So new site design, but I know you've also started WeaverPix 4, right? You're actually actively working on it, right? So
I am. I've been talking to you about it for months now. We haven't really talked about it.
So how are you going on with that?
It's I've actually had a lot of work done on probably in the beginning of the year. I just some other things popped up, and then I've kind of been reevaluating the features. I've had the big thing about WeaverPix 4, as you know, is that it's going to be a stack.
Mm-hmm.
It's not no longer going to be a standalone plugin. So working at integrating a lot of more services into it, and some of the bigger ones that I'm focusing on is actually all of the Total CMS features, right? So it's going to integrate a lot with the Total CMS side of things. So that's pretty much done. It has I can't even tell you how many different effects and galleries and stuff like that it has built in. I think it's in the maybe dozen range. Now I have to even look because it's been so long. But
now you already have it integrated with Flickr and 500px, right?
No, well, I can
here I am putting features in your mouth. Damn, I thought that was right. That's why I said it.
Oh yeah, no, you're right. No, you're right. Actually, 500 pixels Flickr. I had to drop Dribble. That's what I forgot. I had to drop Dribble.
Oh, okay. They don't have an API, do they?
They did.
Oh, they did. Got it. Got it.
Yeah. So, 500 pixels Flickr, Total CMS Gallery, Total CMS Image, and single images or warehoused image.
Mm-hmm.
So, I got tons of effects built into it now, and I'm bringing this up as I talk to you. But 1, 2, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, roughly 12, 15 different animation effects and stuff, and of course, each of those has tons of options. So it's taken a lot of work and come out great. I just want to make sure that it's really useful and something that users can definitely take advantage of, and B, everything is very clear and apparent, and making sure that the onboarding process is smooth.
Cool. So what are your plans going on for the rest of the year, for the next 6 months? What do you just hope to finish what you've already started, or do you have more things that you want to start to tackle?
I want to get WeaverPix 4 done. If I got WeaverPix 4 done, I'd be really happy.
Okay.
If I was able to get my site design halfway done or beyond the design phase, I'd be really happy.
Okay.
And that's probably what I'd be really happy with. WeaverPix.
So just curious, why do you want to redesign? Because I kind of like your site. I think it looks nice. It looks a hell of a lot better than my current website, right? So like,
Joe, that's a low bar. That's a pretty low bar you set.
Oh man, taking the shots. Man, I'm letting myself down, and then you just push me down even further. Man,
it was a softball.
That was a softball. Oh man.
Yeah. No. I want to go into something more. No, I definitely like the Chili Dog hosting design. and I redid Chili Dog Software's design, but I want to bring Chili Dog hosting, have more of a dog theme. I want to go full dog.
Ooh, going full dog. Like what's up, dog? You gonna have like rappers and stuff on there?
Yeah, like
Penny the Rapper,
crime dog,
right?
like yeah, Penny the Rapper. No, like that crime, like the crime dog. What was that crime dog?
Oh, oh man, take a bite out of crime. Yeah, I can't remember his name.
Yeah. No, I think more of like dog print. More on the lines of dog print. Yeah.
Okay.
Freshen it up. I really want to make it simpler and easier for people to get started.
Okay. So. You gonna go like puppy email and go all dog themed out, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why not?
I see. Yeah, you have your puppy VPS, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and all the plans are actually funny. They're named after they're named after Chili Dog.
I thought they were hot dogs or something like that.
Right, exactly. They're chili dogs, like toppings for chili dogs and stuff like that. Yeah.
Oh,
different size chili dog. You know, it's the food slant on the animal take.
Oh, okay, got it. So you want onions and sauerkraut with that, or what?
Yeah. So we have like different sized chili dogs and different spiciness of chili dogs, and yeah. So I'll probably change that to something that's more dog centered instead of the food centered stuff. But
okay,
could have fun with it. How about you? What do you?
I am pretty much, in terms of goal wise, I'm pretty much in the same exact place as I was in late January. Still working on getting WeaverSpace done. We had hoped to get it out by like the beginning of May. Then it was the end of May, and now we're in July, right? So, yeah, we are a whole lot closer though, right? We actually have pages like beta test pages actually designed and published to a secret location. And so we are actually making progress. We're at a point now. I have, Total CMS 2 I'm building out to manage the entire thing. I have that now at a stable enough place. Part of it was I was, had to build out a lot of that back end to even build the site. And then damn, John Hawkins had to buy a house and, and all that jazz. And that took up a lot of time. So he has a nice house though. So good. Congrats to him on getting a new house and moving and all that jazz. But yeah, luckily he's back in it. And for the past about week and a half, we've been pretty much, someone's been working on my website almost 24 hours a day, because he's in England. Right. So it's like, we work until about 2 a.m. his time, and then I keep working. And most of the time, by the time he's up in the morning, I'm just about to go to bed. And so then he starts working on it, and then I'm in bed. So we've been working at it pretty hard for about a week and a half, 2 weeks now. So it's been good. We're making a lot of progress. So hopefully we aren't too far off now. Definitely this summer. We will definitely make summer 2018 for the new WeaverSpace site. So I'm excited about that.
Nice.
Yep.
What about your other stuff? What are you going to do? What are you going to do differently to try to meet some of the other goals you had?
A lot of the other goals I had were pretty much all for after I launched WeaverSpace. They were, one of the goals was this podcast actually. So that, I guess that's been kind of successful, right? I mean, we've been going for 6 months, right? So that's definitely, that's something that I've wanted to do. So I'm glad we've been doing that. We've been doing it pretty regularly. So I think we might have missed 1 or 2 weeks or something like that. But all in all, we've been pretty good, and I'm happy with that. And I think users are really enjoying it, right? So that was definitely a goal of mine. And after WeaverSpace, the site's launched, I really want to focus a lot more. Probably dedicate maybe at least 2 days a week to just working on the business, not in the business, right? In terms of marketing and stuff like that. So I really want to, do more of that stuff. I also have a ton of products that are at the 80% range of being done. So after the site's launched, I'm just going to take those over the threshold and start releasing a lot of that stuff as well. And then obviously we have WrapWeaver 8 and Stacks 4 coming this year as well. So hopefully it's gonna end up as a really fun, great year for the WrapWeaver community. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
Yep.
Yeah, I definitely need to get better about the business stuff, but I've been working hard in the business and trying to get a few things off my plate to clear stuff up, minor updates, bug fixes, and support, and onboarding new clients and stuff. So, their clients are the number one thing. So I take care of them first and put everything else second.
They do. Yeah. Everybody talks about how everyone asks for hosting. Everyone says, go to Chili Dog. Right?
No complaints there. No complaints there, Joe. But you know how it is. Like, you want to help the person first before, adding a feature, doing that bug fix you really wanted to do.
Yep.
Write that code.
Yeah. So I know I'm going to get a lot of questions about this Total CMS 2 beta by the end of summer. So once I get the site launched and released, I'll start having some public betas for Total CMS. I'm not going to be doing it before my site's launch because I want my entire sole focus to be on designing the site. I do have 2 users that currently have, John Hawkins and one other user currently have access to it, and they're banging it on for me. So they have an alpha version, and it is site worthy now, at least. So that's fun because obviously where I'm building the new Weaver space with it. So it's got to be at least pretty decent to manage all of that. 150 products. I do have to say it's pretty cool. So the current site that we have, the alpha site is, has product pages for every product. It's all done. But what's crazy interesting is that the WrapWeaver project's only like 5 pages right now. Right. But when you look at it online, it's like hundreds of pages because you got your list of products and you click on it and it goes through into the individual product page. And, it's very cool. I think it's going to be a really nice game changer for the freelancers that build larger websites, or a company that wants to build a website that have lots of products and stuff like that. Right? It allows you to really design templates for your pages, and then use the CMS to control all the content and dynamically insert stuff so that looks like you have a huge website when in reality you only have 10 pages, 5 to 10 pages in your project. So really excited about that.
Yeah, sounds sweet. Can't wait to see it. So you want to talk about some of the user stuff?
Yeah, so let's go ahead. Let's look at some user reviews. We got a couple reviews on iTunes. So thank you very much for the 2 guys that left some reviews for us on iTunes. Just going to read these off. First one is from Ellie Way. And has just discovered this podcast. Brilliant. I'm going to listen to the other episodes. Really helpful information. The pace is perfect too. Joe and Greg keep it fast, but really easy to listen and learn. Thanks, guys. Boom. Thanks, Ellie. Next one is from Red Max. And for me, this is like being the proverbial fly on the wall while Plato and Socrates whispered universal truths with casual aplomb. Oh my goodness. So who's Plato and who's Socrates?
Who they are in general, or which one?
No. Is it who? Are you Plato or am I Plato? I don't know.
I don't think I am deserving of such high.
More like Pluto and Donald Duck.
Yeah, right. Our works will never don a ancient literature or library. Although I appreciate the review.
Yes. Thank you very much. Both were 5-star reviews, I want to say. So thank you very much. If you guys are liking the show, please go ahead and leave a review. Thank you very much for Red Max and Ellie. So thanks, guys.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Next up, we got a couple user questions actually submitted via email. So Greg, why don't you jump into those?
We did. I'm going to try to read or review or shorten this email from Pete. His question is on subdomains. His first part is about how subdomains work in Total CMS for users. So if they had a subdomain and they had total CMS set up for the subdomain, what happens when he wants to move it to a primary domain? So if he wants to take sandbox.mydomain.com and move it to mydomain.com to make it live, how does that process work?
Okay.
That's the first part.
First part. Okay. So it looks like he says he's also confused about the whole subdomain thing, right? So why don't you explain? Why don't you explain just for basics what a subdomain is, Greg?
Well, your main site, what you see when you type in yourawesomesite.com, that would be your main site. A subdomain is what would be a good way to describe it? It's like a subfolder or subsection of your main domain. So you can set up a sample site samples.yourawesomesite.com, or you can set up test.yourawesomesite.com or sandbox.yourawesomesite. And these are sections that you can use for development, you can use for testing, you can use that do not impact your main domain. So these are ways that you can add more sites to your URL. You can then use for various purposes. So, as this person is using a sandbox site, they want to do all their testing and development on an area that is isolated from their main site. So hope that explains that a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So how does all this work with total CMS, right? First off, Pete, I think people that try to do, subdomains, we did talk about this a couple episodes ago, right? About how to set up subdomain. I think it was in the publishing best practices episode, right? So with total CMS, the licensing, it is licensed for your domain and all subdomains. So if you apply your license to the subdomain, it will work. You don't need a separate license for a subdomain and a real domain. Okay. Now, we do recommend a subdomain because kind of like what we said in the publishing best practices episode was if you publish to a subfolder and versus a subdomain, right? If you publish to a subdomain, it's going to be better because all your paths to everything are going to be correct, right? They're not going to change, right? The only thing that's going to change when you go live to your production domain is you're removing the subdomain, but all the paths to all the files and folders and everything is going to remain the same. So it's going to be a much cleaner experience than trying to do that all inside of a subfolder. Now, when you want to move from your subdomain to the main domain, basically you're going to republish everything to your main domain, move over the CMS-data folder that's going to be at the root of the website, move that from your subdomain over to wherever your live domain is. And at that point, you should be good. You're going to want to make sure that your project file in the general settings that you update the website address to not have the subdomain in case it does, right? So you want to make sure that has the correct your main domain. And the only other thing that you're going to want to make sure is that you go to the blog post page. So the Total CMS blog, what it does is if you're using pretty URLs, okay, which you probably are, Pete, because I know, then what pretty URLs are is basically normally by default, when you go to a blog post, the URL has, mydomain.com/blog. And then there's like a question mark, permalink equals, and then the permalink for your blog post. Well, if you wanted to get rid of that question mark permalink equals in the URL, Total CMS can be configured to use pretty URLs. So inside the blog post, the content side on the blog post page, there's a setting to turn on pretty URLs. And when you preview that page, it shows you a little light box that hopefully makes it as easy as possible. It tells you what htaccess rules. It creates the htaccess rules that you would need for your particular project. You're going to have to put those inside your htaccess file. So if you're moving from a subdomain to a main domain, you need to make sure that htaccess file is moved over as well, right? So that if you are using pretty URLs, it's all good. But getting long story short, you're going to want to make sure you go to your blog post page, the content side in WrapWeaver. Make sure that pretty URL setup is exactly what you want. Preview the page, and you might need to resubmit it if the content on the server is not what the stack believes it should be. Probably because it probably saved the subdomain into the blog. So it'll probably notice that you're no longer on the subdomain, and it'll just ask you to resubmit. It'll verify that the new domain is correct, and you just click submit. And if all goes well, it should just work from then on. So sorry, that was kind of a mouthful. Did he have a second part of his question, Greg?
Yes. Pros and okay, so I guess this one's for me, and should have done more research before we talked. But we covered hosting. Can you please discuss the pros and cons of hosting in different countries? For example, I'm in Australia. Hello from down under. Hello down under. Should I host with Greg? So actually, I get this question a lot, and I do have lots of clients who actually host with Chili Dog from Australia. From an SEO perspective, it's, Google understands your content and, knows your URL. So if you have like a .com.au domain, they know you're targeting AU, the AU country, Australia and stuff. And they know based on your content that you write, if you provide address and context, they'll know that these users are for your demographic. I had this lengthy discussion when I was developing SEORX with an SEO consultant to make sure that, that was kind of true. And he was like, yes, it's true, because you can, if you use Google in the UK versus Google in the US, you can actually try the same queries and you can see that the results are different, and what gets matched is totally different based on that demographic local. So now other things that might matter is, if you're in closer proximity to your users or, your demographic, I guess that depends on what you deem is acceptable. There are of course differences, because, if you had a server that was 10 feet from you versus 10,000 miles from you, there's going to be some kind of difference, some kind of latency, some kind of lag. But to be honest, I don't really see that being a driving factor now versus what it was 10 years ago, because the general internet speeds and accessibility is really, really good now. I don't see users through my servers and my system have really high latency or really high lag for their pages and stuff. So everything seems to be.
Yeah, we're mostly talking about like milliseconds here in terms of difference, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So, so we're talking like tens of milliseconds, maybe at worst 100 milliseconds. So you're not going to suffer too much on those scores. So, in other words, go with somebody who you would probably trust. If you're not going to go with Chili Dog, then make the best choice for you and your business. Of course, I would never advocate differently, because that's how I firmly believe in, that you have to make the best choice for your business. But you're more than welcome to host a Chili Dog. I do have plenty of people who live in Australia and other side of the world, Hong Kong and everything, and host with Chili Dog. Now,
is this another use case kind of for Cloudflare if someone's worried about geography and where their host is?
It would definitely proxy and cache the CDNs for your page loading, but like your publishing would still be directly to the server. So
yes, yeah. But I mean, one of the things with Cloudflare is that they have 50 servers around the world that are going to if you're in Australia, but the server's in New York, let's say, they have I think they have a data center in Singapore, right? So essentially, instead of for the initial request might go through the server to get the HTML, right? Because Cloudflare doesn't cache the HTML, but like all the resources, images and all that jazz, it's going to come from the Singapore server. Again, we're talking about milliseconds here, but that is, one of the selling points of Cloudflare.
Yep.
Yeah.
And even the free plan will do this.
Yes, even the free plan in Cloudflare, correct.
Yes, and most Weaver users don't need the paid plan. And unless you're a banking or an investment company doing direct stock exchanges, I don't think milliseconds really kills anybody at this point in the game. Yeah, they're not doing real-time stock trades.
Cool.
So I hope that adequately answers your question, Pete.
Sweet. Thank you, Pete. It's been good.
Yes, thanks,
Pete joins the Hangouts every now and then. He's been a regular for years. I'm still waiting for my boat, Pete. Pete was going to build me a boat. He promised me, and I'm still waiting for my boat. So, come on, Pete.
Wow, Joe gets a boat.
I may have insinuated it. He never actually promised, maybe, but let's not tell Pete that. Okay, that's just between you and me. I'm still waiting for my boat, Pete. Come on, man.
Okay. Yeah.
Sorry about Australia, Pete. You were so close to getting into the knockout rounds in the World Cup. They were so close. Australia was. It was one of those crazy days where it depended on if the other game happened a certain way, Australia would have gone through, and just didn't happen. So Australia is out again this year. Sweet, Greg. Where can everybody find you, Plato?
Okay, Socrates. ChiliDogSoftware.com, ChiliDogHosting.com, and @Barshard on Twitter.
Sweet. And I am @JoeWorkman everywhere. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Okay. Hook me up. Ping me if you need it. Also, check me out at Weaverspace. Our community for this podcast is at Weaverspace, weavers.space/WeaverRadio. And if you want to listen to all of our archives, any old shows, just go to weaverradio.com/archive. You can listen to all our past shows, subscribe to pretty much every app and iTunes feed out there. So if you have a podcast player, we have links there for you to subscribe to, so you can get our shows in your ear every week. And if you are enjoying the show, please feel free to leave us a review. We'd appreciate it. We'd love you for it. And we'll give you a shout out right here on the podcast. And if you have any questions we'd like to answer, like Pete did today, shoot us an email at feedback@weaverradio.com. Cool, Greg. Well, thanks for the chat today. Had fun.
Yeah, thanks. You
Sweet.
too. Take it easy.
Take care, bud.